everyone, Joshua Hanlon here at Brick Fiesta Austin 2019, and beside me is this incredible castle which you can see the front of right now. But if we come around to the other side, the real star of this build is all the detailed rooms here. So I've got the builder with me right here.
My name is Ed Frazee, and this is my giant castle build. This has been a labor of love. I started it about a year and a half ago, and it took me roughly about 9 months to put together.
Great, so maybe we just want to start at the bottom here and then work our way up?
Oh, awesome, yes. What we have at first is on the side we have dungeons where I've got some bad guys that are already imprisoned. And as we go over to the left, I have some catacombs down at the bottom. There's treasure in there that's being guarded by banshees and glow-in-the-dark ghosts that are back in the back. Of course, I also included some details like mushrooms and stalactites and stalagmites. And then as we come up, we have one of two dining rooms. This is the formal dining room, and as you can see off to the right, there's a fish tank in there with a cat watching the fish swim around. And then back there in the very, very back, we have the kitchen that all the food gets prepared. We then move across to the jesters in the background, preparing to entertain the guests that are coming in to the formal dining. And then off to the left, we have various foods and knickknacks and whatnot to serve the people. Then in the middle, we have the throne room. As you can see, we have some elves that are processioning in to see the king and the queen. And of course, off to the side there, next to the king, is a prince. And there's all sorts of guards and armor that are up against the wall. And then next to that, we have an informal dining room that is set up pretty much like the formal one, but this is where the knights and stuff would eat. And as you can see, there's money on the table. Those are the nightly tips that happen. Then above that, we have the bedrooms for the princesses. I have those split off on both sides, and I have various toys and animals and knickknacks thrown in there as well. And then we have a hallway there that is loaded up with weapons and shields from various different themes that I've collected. And here in the middle is the large royal bedroom for the king and the queen. And I really tried to deck it out with candles and chocolates and gold. A couple of fireplaces are in there, as well as some guard dogs. Then as we go up, we have what I want to call a sauna, where people can come in and take a hot bath. And there's a genie girl who's in there throwing some more water into the lava pool to create more steam. And then next to that is another hallway. The gold trim that you see there is the stairwell itself that goes from the lower floor up. One of the things I did try to do was add stairs to give a little realism from one floor to the next. And then next to that, I have what I would call the ye old restrooms. There's the buckets that are toilets, and I have the little round toilet paper, and in some of the stalls I even have reading material. And then in the middle I have a rejuvenating pool that everybody just seems to rave about. And then we move across, and there's another hallway, and then we have another sauna, and then above that we have a wizard's bedroom. This is really neat because I tried to deck it out with mystical creatures and oddball creatures of that type, and just have fun with it because there's wizards after all. Then I have some ghosts here, and as you can see, I've got a little animal there, which was like a little hamster. Then I have other animals like cats and more dragons, and I've got shelves. I could not complete this without having some bookshelves because my wife is a librarian and she would kill me if I didn't include some library books. So as we go along, we have the wizards in the back with the snowman. The snowman was coming through the portal behind him. He's friendly, but the wizards didn't know that, so they're scared of him, and he's just really wanting to give them some ice cream. And in front of that, I have a table with a bunch of knickknacks, including a magic 8-ball. So as we come along, we have some more animals that kind of fill in the place. There's a Hogwarts owl, and then some rock monsters, and a bat creature that is hanging from the rafters. And of course, this is a little belfry that I created for it. And as we pan across, there's the witches' room. I tried to fill this in as like a training center for the witches. There's no stairs to this because, as everybody knows, witches can fly, so they don't really need any stairs. And I also try to add some details like some cauldrons, a pipe organ, on all sorts of tables and whatnot, just for added details. Then above them, I have some tower prisons. And as you can see, I've got some very unusual guests in the tower prisons. I've got some big feet, and I've got some genies up in there. And as you can see, they're all going, hey, let me get out, let me get out. And then above them, I have upper levels of the towers. In the center tower, I've got 3 bells up in there of different sizes and a ladder that goes up to them. If Lego ever produces a Hunchback of Notre Dame, I will be the first person to buy one. And then in the smaller towers, I've got a couple of rats and a few other critters that are crawling around.
Great, so that's fantastic. Let's go around to the side now and maybe look at the front side and get the whole picture here.
Yes. And the whole picture here is that on the outside of the castle, I have lots and lots of soldiers that are guarding the castle, keeping an eye on every angle that's possible. I have down here at the bottom, I have some really humorous items like a guy dressed in a corn outfit, a bunch of chickens. I have some gardens with various vegetables and fruits in there. I have livestock. On this side, I have cows. On the other side, I have goats and pigs. And as we pan up, I have some angel knights. As you can see, keeping an eye on the fort. And even higher, we've got a dragon that is starting to eat a fairy girl. That's just a little bit more of my sick humor thrown in there. And then some spider guys and more soldiers to guard the prisoners. And that's pretty much everything that there is to go about the castle. Oh, sorry, I do have a little bit more. I have the, on the very front, I have the statues there, and I have some guys who are wearing horse costumes that are jousting, and a couple of dragon guys that are keeping watch on them. Underneath the castle, I have a guy in a plant costume that looks like he's being eaten. And then on the second floor in the royal section, I have a couple of maidens that are being forced to wear flower costumes because, you know, the royal family loves flowers.
So when you started on this build, I think I noticed some of the old castle base plates on the bottom. Did you just start from there and build up?
Yes. This is the first time that I used a digital program for that, and I had to be real specific on which program to use. And what I did is I started on the elevated base plates that are really old, and I just worked up. I created a framework around that using a bunch of arches, and then upon that, I just did a floor plan and worked my way up.
It worked really well. How'd you decide sort of the colors and the aesthetic of the castle to go with here as you went through each floor?
Well, the main aesthetics was blue and the light gray because that's what I had the majority of the parts for. Also, the shields here are large shields that came from an old set that was like a siege tower.
It was like the Knights Kingdom sets, I think.
Yes, And I just I took this and I put it on the side of the building so that it just added more decorations to the piece. And because it's in gold and blue, that did help dictate the color scheme associated with it. As far as the muted colors are concerned, I did start with the light gray and gradually worked my way up to the blacks. That was just because the light grays are for the regular people and the darker colors were supposed to be for the more magical creatures.
Yep. I like how you kind of offset those sections. So then when you bring this to the show, what's set up like? This is such a big display here.
This is a big display, and how I bring it to the show is that it breaks down into 11 sections. So I'm able to take this apart section by section and put it in my vehicle and go back and forth from convention to convention.
That works really well. Thank you so much for all the work you put into the display here. I think it's kind of right inside the door as people walk into the show, and it certainly catches people's attention. What has the public reaction been like?
It's been phenomenal. I have to give a big thanks to Brick Fiesta for putting me in the location that I'm at because I have been overwhelmed with the positive love that everybody's been giving for this piece, and I couldn't ask for any better spot or any better attendance of people coming to see this thing. It's just, I'm eternally grateful for Brick Fiesta and all the people that have come and seen it.
Yeah, it's an excellent build. Thank you so much for taking the time to take us through each section. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming and see me. Thank you very much.